So let's talk about people who, again, another era of people being under you.
The era of people being under me, I can take it back all the way to 2004. 2004, Microbar was opening an academy to train DJs. Yeah. This academy was called Homeboys Academy. Yeah. So while they were still setting up and building the place, I decided to pay the place a visit, just to look and see what they're doing. Yeah. So Mike is walking me around, showing me this is going to be classrooms, this is going to be the...
Let's just also add again, Mike, who later on acted in
Formula X, yes. So
Connections.
So this is Mike Rabat, the famous, the Shark,
Lions
Den Mike Rabat. So back 2004, he's building Homeboys Academy. At that time it was called Sprite Homeboys Academy. So as Mike is building this, one day I just go just to have a look and see. They had not even finished, it was still under construction. So he's showing me this will be a classroom, this will be a reception area, this will be a rest area, DJs will be rehearsing here, this place I'm going to set up for this will be offices and yada yada. Yeah. So as this conversation goes on, he's like, Steve, but you do production, right? I'm like, yeah. Then he's like, I don't have a teacher. I don't have somebody to train students. Yeah. By this time, Kevin Muley, MoSound, NRG Radio, he's working at Homeboys and he's training DJs. Yeah. In one class. Yeah. So the side for audio production, there was still no teacher who had been put on the job. Yeah.
Kevin Muley,
MoSound.
The mogul.
Yes,
was training DJs at Homeboys.
Yes, he's a teacher.
And now he owns a radio station that competes with Homeboys.
Yes. Look at that.
And also a sound company, MoSound,
Yes.
that competes with Homeboys.
Correct.
that girl's doing research.
So, as the conversation goes on, Mike is like, oh, by the way, you're a producer, right? We need somebody to teach students here. Is it something you'd be interested in doing? I'd never thought about it before. Then I hurriedly agreed without really thinking through it. I just hurriedly said, fine, I'll do it. And so he's like, we did a syllabus. And so he offered me 10,000 shillings to write a syllabus. I was broke out of my brains. I took it, and I spent a number of weeks just picking up material here and there and putting together just something that I could teach students. And so I presented it to him. He's like, yeah, this will work. This is good. Start teaching. So in my class, there was a number of people. Number one, Kalecha Mumu was my student. Yeah, she came for audio production classes. Philip Makanda of Main Switch Productions was my student.
No way.
Sydney of Headbangers was my student. Amongst others. Some ended up being DJs. Kroba was my student. DJ Kroba was my student.
What?
Yes. These people, if you ask them, they'll tell you, they remember our classes, yeah? And so from this point, I realized, okay, I never knew I could teach, but I realized, okay, I can actually mentor and teach guys. So from this point, I made it a point to keep the thing going, because my job at Homeboys really was to set up and start the academy, which I did, and then I handed over and it continued after that. So I continued mentoring guys. I became the free technical support for the whole Kenyan production industry. Everybody,
Steve, I'm having a problem connecting this.
Everybody would call me, and everybody still calls me up today, and I like it. I like to help people to just make sure that whatever they're doing is working. Yeah. So, fast forward back to your question about Teddy B. 2009. One day I'm just going about mending my business. I get a call from an unknown number. Yeah. And we start to have this conversation on the phone, and there's somebody on the other side of the line who's very friendly, very jolly on the phone, yeah. And he says he's a producer, but very interesting guy on the phone. And I've never met him, but we're just having a very interesting conversation, and I'm enjoying just chatting with him. And it's our first phone call, and I don't even know who he is. and he tells me I work off a studio in Kitale. I'm trying to move to Nairobi. I'm looking for work, and yes, I'm a producer and ABCD. And I've not heard anything of it. I'm like, send me some of your stuff I listen to. So before he sends, he gives me excuses. Oh, I work in the church. There's a small keyboard we use, whatnot. So you might not find the quality to be. I told him it's okay. Just send. So even with his keyboard and his excuses and whatnot, I could still hear good.
Yeah, because you've been there.
I could still hear good things inside this thing he was giving excuses about.
You know what it is to have that keyboard alone yourself.
So I'm listening to it and I'm like, yeah, this guy has a gift. Like this guy, in spite of his limited resources, he's got an amazing talent. Yeah. So I tell the guy, you know what? Just take the leap, man. Come to Nairobi. Come and then we figure it out. Yeah. And so after some time I get a call, same number, same guy. Oh, Uli Teddy, yes, I need to Nairobi. I've come. I'm here. I need work. I've just come. What can we do? So at this time it was just perfect timing. I had just gotten a job to do for a client. An artist was called Ruth Karanja. Yeah. And Ruth Karanja needed a certain type of production, which I felt Teddy B could do better than me. Yeah. So I told Teddy, you come and let's try ourselves out on this album. Yeah. So they worked with Ruth Karanja, 12 songs. Yeah. And then Ruth Karanja has got diverse music from ballads to the almost River Road sounding music, to just really, she does so many different types of music, and she's very good in writing. So you can't give her a bad product. And I just took a risk and I said, I hope this is gonna come out good. Yeah, because I was very busy at that time. We're doing so many other things, and I needed somebody in the studio. And Teddy did an amazing job. Yeah, and then after that, some guy comes to the studio. He wants a rock song. Rock. Nothing but rock. Nothing short of rock. And I was like, I don't think I fit the bill. And I told Teddy, do you want to try this rock song? Teddy's like, bring the artist. Now I said to myself, this guy can do that Swahili gospel, eh? Then he can do an R&B ballad. And then he can do rock. I'm like, this guy is the future. I'm like, this dude here is the future. And as you can see, he's maintained very good relations with so many artists. And at this point in time, in terms of gospel, I don't know who has worked with more artists than Teddy B. Like just across the board.
Dude, forget even gospel. I mean, I was talking to Elani the other day, and
Elani,
they're like, yeah, we've just done we're working with Teddy B.
So many guys have gone through his studio, yeah. And it's just that, just being diligent about your work. He's the kind of guy who, number one, the common complaint for production in Kenya is that producers don't finish albums. You always hear that. I paid, the producer disappeared, my album got lost, and there's always those excuses. At least one good thing is he always finishes his jobs. Yeah. And then he refers to people. He calls when he's stuck. He gives you credit even when you don't need it. He's like, yeah, this is the guy who taught me how to do this. When I have a problem, he still calls me. We talk, even if there's nothing to talk about. And so, to me, I is somebody I'm very proud of, as somebody who I worked with and helped to nurture. I didn't know he's one day gonna be like one of the top guys in Kenya, but he is now, and it's something that makes me very happy that I was part of his journey.
You're part of his foundation, or his journey.
Born in Kitale and raised in Naivasha, Teddy Bernard has an ear out for music. While he long dreamt of being a musician, his priorities evolved as he grew older under the guidance of Steve Ominde.
He understands a lot of musical concepts and theories that many modern electronic producers, as you might not quite know. Because music, when you understand the theoretical bit of it, you'll always have a little bit of an edge over many producers who just learned on software and off sampling and whatnot.
Today, this Chisamisi High School alumni is famed for producing great hits for the likes of DK Kwenye Beat, Daddy Owen, and Ruftone, among others. Formerly of Jumbo Sound Records, Teddy B branched out to form his own Signature Scope recording label, which released Willie Paul's Mapenzi. He hopes to attend Strathmore University to sharpen his business management skills.
One thing that really was outstanding for me is his professionalism, his ability to commit to something and finish it, his ability to make time, his ability to work on different projects simultaneously without disappointing anybody, and above and beyond that, his sense of honesty, integrity, his character, and then he's just a warm personality. I basically see him being an international name sooner or later, who will be able to work quite well with many artists even beyond our borders.
Teddy B's passion, drive and discipline is the reason that he is the 2015 Groove Awards Audio Producer of the Year.
I chair the panel. My name is Charles Cairo, and I've just seen the reasons why Teddy B deserves to win this award. Teddy B, karibu.
Nani anajisikia kuongea? Willie Paul, kuja.
Mika Teddy B, ningependa tu kushukuru Mungu sana na kwa kina wasanii kama Willie Paul. Amen.
Mimi nataka kusema hivi, nashukuru God sana. Hii beats tukifinya piano ni upako ya God. Tuna fast, tuna pray, tunapigana na wengine. Na DK nimeshindwa. Nashukuru God sana. So thank you Kenya, thank you Africa. Na God will bless. Niko na auntie yangu hapa. Auntie, just come. Madhi yangu angeweza kumake, so auntie ndo angeni represent yani. Anaitwa Pamela.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
God will bless.
Another thing, Steve-O, I mean, I love the Teddy B story because the Teddy B story is sort of like a flashback and a recent flashback to this gap between maybe 2004 or 2008 to 2016. There's so much you've been doing in between that thing, and you know, we can't cover everything. But the reason why I love flashing back is because the foundation. I want guys to understand that this guy that you're seeing on the screen right now, especially the artists, is the reason you are where you are. That's the whole reason why I do the Playhouse.
Yes.
That's the reason why you see a lot of my interviews are with people, OGs. Yes. I've started with OGs.
Yes.
You get? Now, I want to speak about the beginning days of the gospel music industry. Okay. You see, me, I bumped into you in after 2003s.
Yes.
When I was meeting you already established, not knowing what you had done for me in terms of rap community.
Yes.
I want us to go back to the beginning days in terms of musician, your camcorder days. Explain to me the industry at that time. Explain to me what you experienced, what you captured. You get? Because there's some footage you've shown me. I'm like, yes. Yo, Steve-O, you were there this time.
Yeah, basically, in those early days, because we were not doing video for commercial purposes. It was just for the sake of having something to store,
for archiving, for history telling.
So because of that, we didn't know how cool it would be to be able to watch them this far later. But back then there was events. There's a lot of events that would happen every now and then. Like for example, there was JC's Groove. Yeah, JC's Groove was a gig that was coined by Kevin Muley.
The mogul.
Yes, and by
in fact, you are using that word is so you can use it only with very few Kenyans. Yeah. Mogul.
Yes.
You know,
and by this time,
it means go Google it. Yes, mogul.
Exactly. and by this time, Kevin Muley was a DJ who had an outfit that still exists today called MoSound.
How are you doing?
get ready. Come on, let's move. Dedicated to all my people. They felt like giving up. You didn't think we was gonna move. Check it out. I know you know. Get up. Get up. Get up.
Yeah. But this time MoSound was like it was like a DJ outfit that would provide sound and music services for gospel events. Yeah. And so MoSound predominantly, I think there were maybe about 2 or 3 DJs. I think DJ Josh was part of them at that time, if I'm not wrong, and maybe 1 or 2 other people. And basically they had gigs like JC's Groove, which was basically a night when guys could come and hanye, like guys could come and have fun.
No, not even guys, Christians.
Yes, Christians could come and have fun, listen to music. There was a dance floor, but at the end of it all, there was something positive that you'd live there with.
Yeah, and it just really made, that interest of music, And the days, I didn't know guys like Adrian or PA, Jamas like sorts. But as time went by and I went to high school, I mean, life just changed, I'm a guy who knew God, but my guys at school just made God like zero to me, yeah? When I went to forward the first Saturday, I was in for CU meeting, but the next Saturday, I just felt like Christian is just off, Because I'm down there having a ball, and me up there, CU singing, I felt jacked. I just felt no.
Yeah.
Explain to people, you know, the reason why I keep interjecting and trying to make you explain to people is because people today, every time I do these videos, I think about the person who's watching this today, and it's like, I don't understand what the big deal is.
Yes.
What other event was there like JC's Groove at that time?
Actually none. There's actually none.
Where else could a Christian go to listen to music?
Nowhere, absolutely.
It's not on radio. It's not on TV.
It was not on radio, it was not on TV. So basically what, you see, Akina MoSound, they had a vision, and today we can see what they were trying to do from back then, yeah? There was something they knew very clearly that they wanted to achieve, yeah? And so this takes me back, even in 2002, Rebirth had what was called a street bash, yeah? We got a few guys who are willing to provide certain kinds of professional services. Like we got guys to give us a stage for free. It was called, these guys were called, I don't remember their names. There's a guy who still does sound and stage up to now. MoSound came on board, yeah. This Utalii House gave us their parking lot in town, yeah, and we set up over there. We were given a stage. We were given time on radio. There was a lady who was called Tichi Nyasani. Nyatichi Nyasani was on radio, and she helped promote for us the event, and we even went and did interviews with her on radio back then, yeah. And as a result of this,
is this when you did your interview with Jimmy Gasso?
This was right about that time, yeah. I remember the people who gave us a stage. They were called live gigs.
Live gigs.
Yes.
Okay. What's the guy called again? Tom.
Tom Owando.
Tom.
Yes. Tom gave us a stage. Tom was a great guy. Yeah, he was a great guy, and he was so helpful, you know. He gave us a stage. We didn't pay for it.
To put into context, for our viewer listening or watching this, Tom is the one who used to provide sound stage and lights for MoSound.
Correct.
For Groove Awards.
Yes.
Before Groove Awards got anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, as a result of this, there was
any international artist wanted to come into the country,
it had to go through.
It had to go through time, and by international I mean East Africa wide.
Yes. And so, as a result of this, we were able to do what is called a street bash. And the objective of the street bash was not to make any money. Because on the street, anyway, how are you going to charge anybody? Yeah. But what we did is we solidified the culture of the possibilities of shows happening. Yeah. And MoSound were on board. Kevin Muley was our DJ for that gig. Yes. K-Crew were also there by this time. Yeah. K-Crew was somewhere. They also helped out with promotion on radio. By this time, they had a show that was specifically just called Kobamba. I think it was on KBC or something. Yeah. So all these things, JC's Groove played a very huge role because JC's Groove came and offered Christians, a hangout, because the only other place Christians could converge was in church. So this was a hangout a decent hangout, you know, a hangout that you're not gonna leave drunk or in a certain state. It was a hangout that was good, and by the end of it, you've been fed with something to go home with. Yeah. So it was a really bold plan. And then one thing that MoSound has always had, they've always been quality conscious. So by this time, they're throwing gigs at Intercontinental Hotel. You know, it was not just any other place, you know. And so this gave birth to a lot of what we have today. Yeah. Today gigs are pretty much still a very big thing, yeah. And gigs have always been what have pushed artists. Today gospel artists are allowed to do a gig at Carnival, yeah. As a result of some of these bold moves that started a very long time ago, right from the days of Heart, all the way to Rap Community, to JC's Groove. It's just been an evolution, yeah? So today, it's okay, and you realize many times that...
Travis Green.
Yes.
Because it's MoSound who brought Travis Green.
Exactly.
Just under the banner, Praise Fest.
Exactly.
It's still the same family.
So you see today, the TSO and all those December 31st Groove Party and all that are just an evolution. They are what are an aftermath of some of the smaller gigs that were done and have grown over time, yeah.
That's insane. Okay, Steve-O, let me fast forward. We've talked a lot about the past. Where is Steve-O now?